Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So dear brothers and sisters, today we are going to talk about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet of Mercy. There's the second part of the prophetic mercy. In this PPT, we would discuss about the prophetic mercy towards children and animals. So let's get started with the presentation. Alright, so Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his mercy towards children. So it's narrated by Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu that once Rasoolullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was with Imam Hassan, who was very young. He was maybe an infant, or he was maybe 2 or 3 years old. So he was kissing Hazrat Imam Hassan radiallahu anhu. So in the meanwhile, Hazrat Arqa bin Habis radiallahu anhu was sitting close to Rasulullah alayhi wasallam, and when he saw Rasulullah kissing Imam Hassan, he told Rasulullah that he doesn't kiss children. He said he has n number of children, but he doesn't kiss his children. So in reply to that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the one who doesn't show mercy will not be shown mercy. It means, so you would obviously kiss the children out of love and mercy. So that means it's also, again, it depends on the context. So in this context, Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to show and portray, and through Hazrat Aqra bin Habis, he wanted to convey the message to the entire Muslims and to the whole of the mankind, that if you do not show mercy, if you do not be very merciful towards children, especially, even you wouldn't be shown mercy. This hadith is mentioned in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Hadith number 2235 and 2318 respectively. In another narration, Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha narrates this hadith, which is also mentioned in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. A few villagers came in the court of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and when they were having a discussion with him, they inquired if Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam kisses his children, to which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered in positive. So the villagers said that they don't kiss their children, out of mercy and love, obviously. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if Allah has removed mercy from your hearts, I am not its owner, which means I am not responsible. If you do not do that, if you do not kiss your children, and you do not show mercy towards your children, then obviously I am not responsible. So, in another narration, Hazrat Anas radiallahu anhu narrates that he hadn't seen anyone more compassionate than Rasulullah towards his children. He was very, very loving, kind-hearted, and compassionate and merciful towards his children, and also towards other children of Mecca and Medina, because it is also mentioned, this hadith is not there in this presentation, but it's mentioned in a hadith that not just his own children, but whoever used to bring, whoever, the companions used to bring their children to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he used to take the children in his arms, and he used to kiss those children. What a fate those children also had. Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had given his son Ibrahim alayhi salam for fostering, because as we know that was a practice in the Arabs, that they used to give children for fostering. So did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He gave his son Ibrahim radiallahu anhu for fostering in the high-lying areas of Madinah Munawwara. And it is mentioned by Hazrat Anas radiallahu anhu himself in this hadith that he used to visit them. He used to visit Hazrat Ibrahim radiallahu anhu. When he met, he used to place him on his own lap and he used to kiss him. So this also shows how much Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to love and care his son Hazrat Ibrahim radiallahu anhu. And this is also muttafaq alayhi hadith mentioned, that is, it's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Now let's have a look at the prophetic mercy on animals. It's narrated by Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, one woman was being punished, and she was sent into the hell because of a cat. So what actually happened was, this woman was from Bani Israel, and she used to I'm sorry, she wasn't from Bani Israel, but she used to tie her cat in a particular place. Neither did she used to give food and water for this cat to survive, nor did she loosen it so that it can go out and have its own food, prey for herself. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in this hadith that Allah said to that woman, that we know, he said this to that woman while she was still being tortured and punished, that we know very well when you tied it, you neither used to feed it, the cat, nor used to let it roam so that it can find its own food. So this not just shows that how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is merciful towards animals, but also shows that how Allah Bari Ta'ala himself and the religion of Islam is very keen and particular and caring, not just towards the human beings, but also the animals. This hadith is mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, hadith number 2236, and in Sahih Muslim, hadith number 1760. Moving on. Narrated by Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a dog was in a well. It was going from this place to the other place within the boundaries of the well. It was in a well. It was very near that and obvious that it would die out of thirst because it was not getting water. So one unrighteous woman from Bani Israel saw it, and she knew how she realized rather that this dog is about to die out of thirst. So she removed her socks and fed the dog with the water through it. Now this was an unrighteous woman, but having a look at the behavior of hers, a good behavior of hers towards the animals, made Allah Ta'ala disregard all of her previous sins, and Allah Ta'ala pardoned her just because of action towards the dog. Moving on, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once entered into a farm of an Ansari companion, and this is a very interesting incident. He entered one of the farms of an Ansari companion in Madinah Munawwara, and when he entered, the camel was there. This camel had a look at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, obviously, even the animals used to recognize Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when it had a look at Rasulullah alaihi salam, it started crying. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went close to it and gave it a gentle touch. It received consolation through that gentle touch of Rasulullah alaihi wasallam, and it started calming down, and it stopped crying. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after a few moments, inquired as to who the owner of this camel is. To which an Ansari youth, a Sahabi, obviously, he answered that he owned it. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam questioned this Sahabi, this young Ansari Sahabi, as to, don't you fear Allah regarding the speechless animal? It means they cannot speak, although they receive all the blows and all the pains that we give. So don't you fear Allah regarding the speechless animal? It has complained to me that you make it work a lot and do not feed it. So this was the ordeal or the pain which this camel was going through. So it complained and said that it complained to Rasulullah about his owner, that he allows me to do a lot of work and it doesn't feed it. And Rasulullah understood the language of this animal. So great is Rasulullah that he even the animals used to speak to him and complain to him regarding their owners. So so as soon as this was told and conveyed by Rasulullah alayhi salam, the Ansari Sahabi took it, and that's the end of the hadith. And this hadith is mentioned in Sunan Abu Dawud, The hadith number is 2049, and this hadith is mentioned by Hazrat Abdullah bin Jafar radiallahu anhu. Now, moving on, Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, the son of Hazrat Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, narrates that Rasulullah alayhi salam once saw a she-camel tied to something. So in this hadith, it is also mentioned in the books of hadith that Rasulullah, this was a time of Zuhr. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam inquired as to who the owner of this camel is. So when he did not get a reply, he went inside the masjid, he offered the Zuhr prayers, and he came back and found that the same camel, she-camel, is tied at the same place. So he inquired once again as to who the owner of this she-camel is. To which a person came back and reverted and replied to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, I am the owner of this camel. To which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't you fear Allah? Either tie it down but provide food fodder, or let it loose so that it can graze. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually had realized that the animal is very hungry, and there was no food fodder in front of the animal, nor was it let loose so that it can go to any particular place and graze it by itself. So this shows how merciful, how caring, how particular, and how concerned is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam towards animals as well. If that is his level of caring towards the animals, now we can imagine how much he cares the entire human being. Then we can also understand how much he would love his own followers, the one who recites his kalima. So we should be very thankful, and we should be very proud of what we are. We are Muslims, alhamdulillah, and that we are the followers of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So lastly, it's also narrated by Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam once passed by someone who was milking a goat. So while he was doing so, he looked at it, Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam looked at it, the guy, and he said, "Oh, so and so, oh Falan ibn Falan, when you milk an animal, leave some of it for its offspring." Look at the beauty of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he's not just concerned with the animals; he's also concerned with the offspring, the children of the animals as well. So he said, "Oh, so and so, when you milk an animal, leave some of it for its offspring, for its children." This is the greatest goodness, the greatest reward, the greatest kindness that you can show towards the animals. Beauty at its best in the personality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May we have that courage, may we have that zeal, and may we do this job of conveying the message to the world that this is what is the personality, this is what is beauty, this is what is the actual thinking and personality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are not terrorists, we are not the ones who kill people, we are not the ones who torture people, we are not the ones who would give pains and ordeals to our to our parents, to our brothers and sisters, to our neighbors and to our relatives. We are the ones who are the followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who not just thought for the betterment of this whole world, but also he made sure that the children and also the speechless animals live in peace and in happiness and in contentment. So this is what we had in this presentation, the prophetic mercy towards children and animal. Inshallah, we'll be with you with another presentation mentioning and showcasing the greatness of Sirah, and that is the personality of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.